Today's letter is for everyone who has ever heard God say, "Go," and didn't know if they could. If you've ever heard the voice, if you've ever felt the pull, if you've ever started a journey and stalled, or never started, or kept going and wondered if you could keep going, this one is for you. Welcome back to Letters from Home. I'm Hank Garner, and this is Friday, the whole letter. 5 days, one man, one voice, one imperative. We've read Genesis 12. We've sat with Abram, who grew up worshiping the moon, and Terah, who started a journey and stopped halfway. We've walked through the call itself, slowly. We've asked where in our own lives we have settled too soon. Today we hear the whole letter, the full message, and one thing I've not told you yet that changes how you hear the whole call. I want to start with the opening claim. The very first imperative God speaks to a human being in the covenant story of the Bible is go. Not settle, not be still, not behave. Go. The whole story of redemption starts with a man being asked to leave the only world he's ever known. That alone is worth sitting with. Most of us have spent more time being told what to stop doing than we've been told to go somewhere new. But God's first covenantal command is movement, not stillness. The faith of the Bible is a walking faith, not a sitting faith. We don't begin in a pew, we begin on a road. Now the word that carries the whole passage. Lekh, lekha. Go for yourself. The Hebrew phrase is doubled, which is unusual. The doubling carries intensity and personal address. God is not sending Abram on a fool's errand. The going is for Abram. There's something on the other side of the leaving that cannot be reached from Haran. Now the man before the call. Abram is not a religious hero. Joshua 24 verse 2 tells us his father Terah served other gods. Abram grew up in an idolatrous household in a culture that worshiped the moon. He had never heard the voice of the one true God before Genesis 12 verse 1. The call comes to a pagan. The call comes to anyone. Now the triple separation. Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house. 3 concentric circles, each one harder than the last. The country, the clan, the household. The Hebrew works inward. By the end of verse 1, everything Abram has is named, and named as something to leave. But God doesn't stop at the leaving. He follows with a promise. 5 I wills. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you. I'll make your name great. I'll bless those who bless you. I'll curse him who curses you. The Hebrew word for bless there, barak, appears 5 times in 2 verses. God does not ask Abram to leave for the sake of leaving. He asks him to leave because there's a blessing on the other side of the going that cannot be reached from Haran. Then the universal scope. In you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. Clans, family units, every people, everywhere, ever. From the very first sentence of God's covenant promise, the scope is global. Paul will later, in Galatians chapter 3, say this is the gospel preached to Abraham in advance. The blessing of Abraham was always meant to flow to everyone. Through one man, all the families of the earth. That's verses 1 through 3. Then the going. Verse 4. So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken to him. No negotiation, no map requested, no 5-year plan. He goes at 75 with his wife, his nephew, his possessions, his people, and he keeps going. He arrives at Shechem. He finds the land already occupied by the Canaanites. He builds an altar. He moves on. He builds another altar. He keeps walking south. Altars all the way down. Markers on the road for a man who knew he was passing through. Now I want to tell you the thing I've not told you yet. Lekh, lekha appears only one other time in the whole Hebrew Bible. Just twice. Both times to Abraham. The first is Genesis 12 verse 1, the call we've been sitting with all week. The second is Genesis 22 verse 2. Listen. Then God said, Take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. The Hebrew of that command begins with the same two words, Lekh, lekha, el eretz haMoriah. Go for yourself to the land of Moriah. 2 times in the entire Hebrew Bible, God speaks this doubled imperative, both times to Abraham. The first time, he asks him to leave his father. The second time, he asks him to give up his son. The phrase that opens Abraham's story is the phrase that nearly closes it. And listen to the destinations of the 2 calls. Genesis 12, a land that I will show you. Genesis 22, one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. Same pattern, same hidden destination, same trust required. God speaks. The destination is named but not located. Abraham has to start moving before he's told where he's going. Lekh, lekha is not a casual command. It's the phrase reserved for the moments when God asks everything. And the man who could obey it the first time was the man who could obey it the second. The cost of Lekh, lekha keeps going up, from a country to a son, from leaving home to climbing a mountain with a knife in your hand. But the pattern is the same. God speaks. Abraham goes. The destination is shown only after the going has begun. That's the word that carries the week. Now Terah. Genesis 11 verse 31 says Terah, Abraham's father, started this journey. He left Ur with his family, intending to go to Canaan, but he stopped in Haran. He never made it. He got halfway, settled, and died there. Most of us are Terah, not Abram. We start, we come some distance, and then we stop. We settle in Haran and call it the Promised Land. The text does not tell us why Terah stopped. It just tells us he did. The call of Genesis 12 is the call to refuse the Terah path, to be Abram even when the previous generation stopped, to keep going when the family quit. Now the landing. Lekh, lekha. Go for yourself. The same God who said it to Abram still says it. To everyone walking a road that is stalled, to everyone settled halfway between where they came from and where God called them, to everyone who is confused Haran for home. The destination is hidden. The promise is not. I will bless you. I will make your name great. I will make you a blessing. In you all the families of the earth. The promise is the thing under the going, the thing waiting on the other side. The going is the hardest part. Abram knew that. He left at 75. He took his wife and his nephew and his possessions and his people, and he walked. He had no map. He had a voice and a promise. That was enough. That's enough for you too. The voice that called him is the voice that calls you. Go. The land will be shown to you, not before, after. If you're listening to this and you have stalled, you can pick up walking again. Abram was 75. There's no age past which God stops saying, go. If you're listening to this and you're afraid of what God might ask next, hear the second Lekh, lekha. The going gets harder. The trust gets deeper. The God who calls you to leave the easy thing is the God who will eventually call you to leave the precious thing too. And he will be the same God in both moments, the same voice, the same trustworthy promise. If you're listening to this and you don't yet know the voice is real. He spoke once to a pagan man in Haran, and he started a story that has not stopped unfolding. That same voice is speaking now. He's not forgotten any family of the earth. The road keeps going, and there's mail. That's this week's letter. We'll see you Monday with another. Join me at hanksbiblestudy.com for more Bible studies, devotionals, and resources to help strengthen your faith.